Back here on Texas Football Today, and joined by a very special guest, the most special guest. He's our college football insider, Mike Craven, here to talk about an exciting project you've been working on for quite some time. First of all, hello, Mike.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
This is a really nice studio.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Look like we're growing up in the world. Mm-hmm. That includes your growing up in the world. Mike Craven, published author.
Author. Adding that to the title, yeah. It's different than writing articles. Mm-hmm. Writing articles, you get the instant gratification, and by the time you dislike it, it's published.
That's absolutely right.
With the book, it is more like digging a ditch, where you just continue to go to the same hole, and you keep digging, and by the end, you're not even sure why you're doing it anymore.
The book is Dave Campbell's Guide to Texas College Football. You can pre-order it now on texasfootball.com. Subscribers, you'll be getting an offer for a discount on the book. So let's talk about just kind of the birth of the idea of this book, because I know this is something you wanted to trick the company into paying for you to do, because
successfully.
Because you basically just got to travel the state for a whole year.
Yeah, so when Sam Houston moved up to FBS, it gave us 13 teams at the FBS level in the state of Texas, which is double than any other state, mm-hmm. right? And so with Synergy, there's 13 weeks of the college football season, right? And so it was like, okay, let's go to each stadium, let's go to a different school each week, we'll put together a history book and kind of do the Dave Campbell's thing, right? Where we cover kind of all of it and get it all in there. It's mostly a history book with references, but it also will tell you the best places to go eat in each town, what to expect from going to a game, what the stadium is like. And so I'm hoping it kind of encompasses the whole state in a way that we do at high school and in college here.
And so all 13 FBS programs in the state of Texas represented. You were boots on the ground for each and every one of them. I'm curious if there was a place I'm curious if there was a place that surprised you, that you went, that you maybe had a preconceived notion of, and then you went to the game day atmosphere and it was just different than you thought.
Honestly, it was Texas State. My uncle went there. He was an athlete there. I've been good. My mom graduated from there. So I've gone to a lot of Texas State games, but it was when they were at the FCS level. And then as a reporter, I've gone there a few times for the FBS, but it was never full. Like, it was never exciting. They hadn't had a great year since I've been on this beat. Well, last year they were super excited. They were having a really good year. I went to the ULM game that ended up being 21-20. It was a great game. The atmosphere was good. It was the day that the eclipse was happening as well. So like it was just a cool day in San Marcos, and it was one of those, like, you saw a program come to life, mm-hmm. like in the moment. You looked around and you were like, oh, this is what Texas State has sworn they were going to be for 10, 15 years now. Like this is what it looks like. So Texas State is up there. I think Texas Tech is the most underrated place to go watch a football game in this state. Everybody knows about Kyle Field. Mm-hmm. At DKR there's over 100,000 people there, and you're in Austin, so that's a fun one. I think Tech may be the third best experience in this state. Wow. Like a night game in Lubbock. I was there for the Oregon game, so it was a really good one. A night game in Lubbock is really hard to beat.
So then let's talk about the process of writing this book, because you mentioned it's different than writing an article. You are one of the reasons that I think you and I are friends and have grown to work together is because you are also a grinder. Mm-hmm. You're a guy who's like, I'm just pumping out copy. But this is an intentionally slower process, and I'm curious how that suited you.
Yeah, I enjoyed the research part. Mm-hmm. Kind of going through and learning the traditions and the best players and the best seasons, and you kind of stumble into some really funny kind of info and history that, as a dork, I enjoy. Mm-hmm. And I enjoy the writing part because I enjoy the creating part. So I enjoy. The last month of the process is the part that I don't enjoy. And I know that you know this more than I do as somebody who designs the magazine. But there are just so many little things that you just never even think of. And you're bouncing it off this, and then you send them your idea, and then they send it back to you, and it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be. And you got to make these edits. And so I'm not a math person, so I always forget which one is micro and which one's macro. I think micro is the bigger one, right?
Micro is the smaller one.
I am a big picture person. Yeah. Like, I can do the big picture stuff. It's when we get into like the nuts and bolts, the mm-hmm. small stuff, the details that I struggle with. Will's helped me a lot to help to do with a lot of that stuff that I'm not good at. So the process was great for the first 7 months of it, it's been frustrating the last month of it.
Yeah, it's Dave Campbell's Guide to Texas College Football, written by Mike Craven, which you can pre-order now at texasfootball.com. From what I understand, you can be a New York Times bestseller if we can. There's an achievable number here. Like, if you were to become a New York Times bestseller, how insufferable, scale of 1 to 10, would you become?
Oh, an 11. Probably. It'd be on my Twitter profile. You know how like doctors make you call them doctor?
Yes.
If it's like a doctorate in music or whatever. I had a vice principal in high school that needed to be Dr. Pede, and you'd look at his degree and you're like, it's music. Like, what are we doing? You know, like, you're not saving lives. Like, why do I have to call you doctor? That's going to be me with author. Like, I'm George Martin, Mike Craven, same, right?
Yes.
Like, both authors. And so, like, we're just talking about it. I feel myself getting a little bit more insufferable.
Honestly, I can't even tell you guys apart right now.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I think we would also be remiss if we didn't talk about the other person on our staff who edited a huge portion of this as well, Will Wilkerson.
Yeah, it wouldn't have happened without Will, for sure. Because as I just described, I can do the big picture stuff. I can do the planning and the research and the copy. I'm not an editor. I'm not a line copy editor. And Will has humbled me in a tremendous way, right? Because you turn in what you think is a great piece of copy, and you get back and it's just like marked all over with, and so that's been a process as well. But yeah, I mean, that's the best part about Dave Campbell's is the team and everybody kind of working on the same things for the same reasons, and I can't thank Will enough for what he did for the project, for sure.
It is Dave Campbell's Guide to Texas College Football, available for pre-order now on texasfootball.com. Please make Mike Craven a New York Times bestseller, because that would be the funniest thing to ever happen in my life. It would just be spectacular for me personally, and also just like a great accolade.
Can you imagine if like I had to go like on tour to like that's been, you know, like if it, like, you know, Ray Romano has a great quote where he's like, I want to be nominated for awards but never win one, because then you get to go to the party but you don't actually have to go give the speech. I want this book to be successful enough to where Adam doesn't fire me.
Yep.
Right? So it didn't look like I came up with a dumb idea. But I am a little scared that it gets to where like I got to do some things that I don't want to do, you know, and one of those, because we're joking about me being insufferable, like I don't think I'd leave the house. I'd be like, can we pretend that Tepper wrote it, and we'll just send Tepper on the junket and he can sign it and do all that kind of stuff. Like that is a scary thing. So buy them. But maybe don't buy too many of them.
You're bad at the sales thing. TexasFootball.com. Pre-order it. Dave Campbell's Guide to Texas College Football.